She ordered $400 of lobster and ignored me. I paid for my salad. She paid for her attitude. The flash of her phone camera blinded me for the 10th time that night, leaving purple spots dancing in my vision like dying stars. Across the table, behind a fortress of crushed ice and shellfish that smelled of brine and money, Vanessa wasn't looking at me. She wasn't looking at the ocean view we were paying a premium for. She was staring intently at her screen, her thumbs flying across the glass with a dexterity that was honestly terrifying. I sat there, gripping my glass of iced tea, feeling the condensation pool in my palm and drip onto the white linen tablecloth. I was wearing my best button-down shirt, the one I usually save for interviews or funerals, and I felt like an absolute idiot. "Can you move your arm?" she snapped, not looking up. "Your shadow is casting across the oysters. It's ruining the aesthetic." I pulled my arm back as if the table were hot. "Sorry," I muttered. "Whatever," she sighed, finally lowering the phone but keeping it unlocked, the screen glowing against her perfectly highlighted cheekbones. "I think I got the shot. But don't touch anything yet. I need to do a boomerang of the steam coming off the lobster." I looked at the table. It was grotesque. It was a display of gluttony that would have made a Roman emperor blush. There was the Grand Tower, a three-tiered metal structure overflowing with king crab legs, oysters, clams, and prawns. There was the Wagyu beef carpaccio with truffle oil. There was the caviar sampler. And sitting in a silver bucket next to her was a bottle of Veuve Clicquot that she had ordered before I even sat down. I looked at my side of the table. I had a house salad and an iced tea. "Vanessa," I tried to start a conversation, my voice sounding thin in the cavernous, noisy dining room of the Gilded Net. "You mentioned on Tinder that you work in marketing. That sounds interesting." She didn't answer. She was busy tilting her head, pursing her lips, and winking at the front-facing camera. "Vanessa?" "Hold on," she held up a manicured hand, palm out, silencing me. "I'm posting to my story. I need the caption to be fire. Saturday night vibes with the bestie." "No, that sounds lame. Treating myself because I deserve it." "Yes." "Perfect." She hit post. Then she set the phone down, face up, so she could watch the notifications roll in. "What did you say?" she asked, finally picking up a fork and poking at a piece of crab like she was dissecting a biology specimen. "I asked about your job," I said, my patience fraying like an old rope. "Oh. Yeah. Marketing. It's whatever," she shrugged, popping a tiny piece of crab into her mouth and chewing slowly. "I'm mostly an influencer. Well, aspiring. I have 5,000 followers on TikTok. That's why we had to come here. This place is trending. The lighting is elite." "Right," I said. "The lighting." I looked at the menu again. The Grand Tower alone was $180. The champagne was $120. The caviar was $90. So, I cleared my throat. "You seem really hungry. That's a lot of food for one person." "I have a fast metabolism," she said, her eyes drifting back to her phone as it buzzed with a like. "And besides, I love seafood. I can eat all of this. Don't worry about it." She took a sip of champagne, leaving a perfect rim of red lipstick on the crystal. Then she picked up her phone again. She started typing. She started smiling at the screen, a genuine, warm smile that she hadn't shown me once since I walked in. "Who are you talking to?" I asked, trying to keep the edge out of my voice. "Just my friends," she mumbled. "They're asking where I am. They're so jealous. I told them I'm at the Gilded Net and they're dying." "Did you tell them you're on a date?" She paused. Her thumbs stopped moving. She looked up at me, and for a second, there was something sharp in her eyes. "Calculation." "I told them I'm out," she said vaguely. "Why does it matter? Are you insecure?" I'm not insecure, I said, leaning forward. I'm just present. And you're not. We've been here for 45 minutes and you haven't asked me a single question. You haven't looked at me for more than 3 seconds. God, you're intense, she huffed, rolling her eyes. Relax. We're having a good time. Look at this food. Isn't it amazing? She gestured to the mountain of shellfish. It looks expensive, I said. Quality costs money, she retorted. If you couldn't afford it, you shouldn't have asked me out. You asked me out, I reminded her. You messaged me. You suggested this place. You sent me the reservation link. So, she challenged. That's how it works. The guy pays. It's chivalry. Don't be cheap. It's a turn-off. She went back to her phone. I sat back in my chair. I felt a coldness settle in my stomach that had nothing to do with the iced tea. I looked at her. I really looked at her. She was beautiful, yes. But she was hollow. She was a vacuum sucking up attention and resources. And then, she said it. She put the phone down, took another sip of champagne, and let out a little sigh. Honestly, she said, looking at the ceiling. I needed this. I've been eating ramen for 2 weeks. My rent went up and my card is maxed out. A girl's gotta eat, right? A girl's gotta eat, I repeated. Yeah. It's hard out here, she laughed, a dry, humorless sound. Sometimes you just need a night out to feel human again. Even if you have to swipe right on a few randoms to get it. Randoms. I was a random. I wasn't a date. I wasn't a potential partner. I was a meal ticket. I was a wallet with a pulse. I was a foodie call, a guy you drag out just to pay for a meal you can't afford. The waiter walked up. He was a tall man with a French accent and a look of permanent exhaustion. Is everything to your liking, monsieur? Mademoiselle? It's fab, Vanessa said, waving her fork. Actually, can we see the dessert menu? And another glass of Veuve. This bottle is empty. She hadn't even finished the tower. The caviar was untouched. The carpaccio was half-eaten. And she was ordering more. I looked at the waiter. I looked at Vanessa. Actually, I said, cutting off the waiter before he could turn away. No dessert for me. And no more champagne. Vanessa's head snapped up. Her brows furrowed. What? But I want the chocolate soufflé. You have to order it 20 minutes in advance. You can order it, I said calmly. But I'm done. I turned to the waiter. I looked him dead in the eye. I wanted him to understand. I wanted him to see the dynamic at this table. Check, please, I said. Certainly, monsieur, the waiter nodded. Together or separate, I said. The word hung in the air like a guillotine blade. Separate checks. Vanessa froze. Her mouth dropped open slightly. She blinked, once, twice, as if her brain was trying to process a language it didn't speak. Excuse me, she laughed nervously. Separate? Babe, stop joking. It's confusing him. I'm not joking, I said. I didn't look at her. I kept my eyes on the waiter. I had the house salad and the iced tea. She had the grand tower, the carpaccio, the caviar, and the bottle of Veuve Clicquot. Put those on her bill. Put the salad on mine. The waiter paused. He looked at Vanessa, then back at me. He was a professional. He had seen this before. A flicker of understanding, maybe even solidarity, crossed his face. Very good, monsieur, he said. I will bring them right out. He walked away. What are you doing? Vanessa hissed. Her voice had lost that influencer lilt. It was low and guttural. You can't do that. You invited me. I didn't invite you, I corrected her, leaning in close. You invited yourself. You picked the place. You ordered the food. And then you ignored me for an hour to talk to your friends about how you're using me for a free meal. I didn't say that, she whispered, glancing around to see if the table next to us was listening. They were. A nice elderly couple who looked horrified by the amount of food on our table. You said you swipe on randoms because you're broke and hungry, I said. I'm the random, right? Well, this random is only paying for what he ate. You can't be serious, she said, her face paling under the heavy contour. This bill is going to be like $400. I don't have that. I told you, my card is maxed out. That sounds like a personal finance problem, Vanessa, I said. Not a me problem. Mark, she raised her voice. Stop being a jerk. Pay the bill. You're embarrassing me. I'm embarrassing you. I laughed. You spent the last hour taking selfies with a lobster while I stared at the wall. You embarrassed yourself. You treated me like an ATM with legs. Well, the machine is out of order. The waiter returned. He placed a small leather folder in front of me. Then, he walked around to the other side of the table and placed a much thicker, heavier folder in front of Vanessa. She stared at it. She didn't touch it. It sat there like a bomb. I opened mine. House salad, $12. Iced tea, $4. Total with tax, $17.50. I pulled out a $20 bill. I placed it in the folder. Keep the change, I told the waiter. Thank you for the service. I stood up. Sit down. Vanessa shrieked. She grabbed my wrist. Her nails dug into my skin. You are not leaving me here. They'll call the cops. I can't pay this. I looked at her hand on my wrist. I peeled her fingers off one by one. You should have thought about that before you ordered the caviar, I said. Maybe you can pay them in exposure. You have 5,000 followers, right? Her face turned a violent shade of red. I will ruin you, she spat. I will post about this. I will tell everyone you're a cheap, abusive loser who stranded a girl at a restaurant. Go ahead, I said. Post the receipt too. Let everyone see what you ordered. Let them see the foodie call in action. I turned my back on her. Mark, she screamed. Mark. I walked away. I walked through the crowded dining room. Heads turned. People whispered. I didn't care. I felt lighter with every step. I pushed through the heavy oak doors and stepped out into the cool night air. The valet saw me coming and jogged to get my car. I stood there, waiting for my 2015 Honda Civic, listening to the muffled sounds of the restaurant behind me. Suddenly, the door flew open. Vanessa didn't come out. The manager came out. He was a stout man in a suit that was too tight. He looked stressed. Sir, he called out. Sir, a moment. I turned. Yes. The lady inside, the manager said, wiping sweat from his forehead. She says you're refusing to pay for the meal. I paid for my meal, I said calmly. I paid cash. The waiter has it. The lady ordered the rest. She ate the rest. It's her bill. She says she can't pay, the manager said. She's causing a disturbance. She's offering to leave her phone as collateral. That's between you and her, I said. We aren't married. We aren't dating. We met 2 hours ago on the internet. I have no legal obligation to pay for her champagne. The manager sighed. He looked at me, then back at the door where Vanessa was presumably having a meltdown. Is that true? He asked. First date. First and last, I said. Understood, the manager nodded. Have a good night, sir. He went back inside. He knew the law. He couldn't force me to pay. My car pulled up. I tipped the valet $5, which felt like a fortune compared to what I almost spent, and got in. I drove away. I turned onto the main road, the city lights blurring past me. Then, my phone started to buzz. It wasn't a text. It was a call. From Vanessa. I let it go to voicemail. Then another call. Then the text started flooding in. A wall of blue bubbles. Vanessa, you are a psycho. Vanessa, the manager is threatening to call the police. Vanessa, come back right now and pay this. Vanessa, I'm scared, Mark, please. Vanessa, they are going to arrest me for theft of service. I glanced at the messages at a red light. Theft of service. That's a felony in this state if the amount is over a certain limit. $400 was close. I didn't feel guilty. I felt cleansed. I typed one reply. Me, ask your TikTok followers to Venmo you. Or maybe call one of the other randoms you swipe on. Good luck. I hit block. I drove home in silence. I didn't turn on the radio. I just listened to the hum of the tires on the pavement. I got back to my apartment. I made a sandwich, peanut butter and jelly. It cost about 50 cents. I sat on my couch and opened Reddit. I checked the local city subreddit. Sure enough, about an hour later, a post popped up. Title, Drama at the Gilded Net Tonight. Text, anyone else see the girl getting arrested at the Gilded Net? She was screaming about her date leaving her with a $500 bill. She tried to run out the back and the kitchen staff caught her. Police hauled her out in cuffs. Wild. I stared at the screen. Arrested. She actually tried to run. She tried to dine and dash on a $400 tab because her pride wouldn't let her call her parents or a friend to bail her out. I took a bite of my sandwich. It was sticky and sweet and simple. The next morning, I unblocked her for a second, just out of morbid curiosity. No new texts. But her Instagram story was updated. It was a black screen with white text. Taking a break from socials for a while. Mental health comes first. People are cruel. Karma is real. Karma is real. Yeah, Vanessa. It is. And it tastes like a $20 salad and the freedom of walking away. I blocked her again. Permanently this time. I deleted Tinder. I'm done with foodie calls. I'm done with being a prop in someone else's life. From now on, the first date is coffee. And if she doesn't like it, she can stay home and eat ramen. So, tell me. Am I the monster for leaving a girl to get arrested over a lobster tower, or did she just order a course of justice she couldn't swallow?
If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.